So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the.
All right, guys, welcome back. I don't know what the heck is going on. The last 3 live streams we've done after I started up, we get some sort of burp on either Streamlabs or YouTube, and I have to restart the live stream. And once we restart it, it seems to work okay. Let's cross our fingers and hope that that does not happen again tonight. Welcome back. We're going to talk about movies. We're going to talk about whatever stocks you like. I guess I was talking to myself there for a while in part 1. So I'll probably just end up deleting part 1, and we'll just pretend like, since we only had 5 minutes of part 1 go, this will be the live stream for tonight. Anya, what's going on? I just got back from Godzilla Minus One, so I want to give you some thoughts on that, and then we can talk about whatever stocks, commodities, economic news that you guys would like, and just hang out for a little bit. I'm drinking a little bit of Japanese scotch tonight. A new bottle, Anya. I didn't buy the Nika coffee ground whiskey. I'm trying a new bottle, Tenjaku. Tenjaku. Tenjaku blended whiskey, straight out of Japan. Candace, welcome back. Jay, welcome back. MD, welcome back. Let's hope the YouTube and Streamlabs gods are on our side this time. So I already poured. No, I didn't pour yet. I have my ice down cup. Let's pour a little bit of this. Anya says, Eric had that bottle a couple times, not as good as the Nika. It's half the price, Anya, so I would not expect it to be as good, but sometimes we need to experiment with lower price just to see, right? Yeah, it already smells not as good as the Nika. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's kind of rough, Anya, to be honest. A lot of flavor hitting you right out of the gate. And I like my whiskey to be a little bit more smooth and subtle. Maybe, you know, a little smoke if I'm drinking a Scottish whiskey is okay. This one's a little more rough. You can tell it's a cheaper whiskey. I did not watch any of the Cybertruck news today, MD. I was busy today trying to keep up with trading. And then I had a couple errands to do after the markets closed. And then we had to get ready and run off to the movies. So I'll try and catch up on that tomorrow. And I'm still waiting on an entry on Tesla. I had some puts on Tesla yesterday that I held for the day. I made about 18% on those. I could have made a few more percent, I guess, if I would have held them through today. Tesla, I sold them when Tesla was about 244, and I think it closed around 240 today. But I'm more interested. I was more interested because Tesla is so volatile, and I knew they had the Cybertruck event. Like, let me count my blessings, take my 18% in one day, close that trade out, and we'll see how tomorrow goes. And then I was up very late last night. I didn't wake up till 9:30 this morning, which is very unusual for me. I'm like a 5 a.m. riser. So I didn't have time to jump back into Tesla. this morning. And I already have other trades in play. Some of those will be finishing out tomorrow. Some of them go through the 15th. So I'll have a little more free time to pick some new stuff next week. And I'll have some time tomorrow to check on the Cybertruck event. Do I have any opinions on NVAX, Novavax, heavily shorted, and lots of things going in their direction? Let me see. By the way, the short interest, we were looking at a couple stocks that have high short interest, GameStop being one of them. And I was talking to someone today that was buying Cinemark. I don't have any Cinemark. I've done some reporting on Cinemark just so you guys can see how they're positioned financially comparative to an AMC. But Cinemark has a fucking high short interest too. Did you guys know that? It's like 23% shorted. Let's pull up the one that you're asking about though. NVAX. Holy smokes, 39%. Yeah, almost 40% short on NVAX. So what's going on here? I don't usually look at income statements on Ortex. Let's see if we can see what it looks like. 357 million, 80 million, 424, 186. It's like bouncing all over the place, up and down. Q4 estimated 322. Net income, negative, negative, positive, negative. All right. Let me go to a screen that I'm more familiar with looking at quickly and easily. And then we'll talk about silver. The person who was asking about silver, are you back? Balance sheet on NVAX. 661 million in cash, total current assets 1 billion, total current liabilities is higher than total current assets, so they do have a working capital deficit. That is a problem. Let's see what else they have. Total assets 1.6 billion, total liabilities is slightly higher at 2.3, and long-term debt is reasonable at $220 million. Operating cash flow is negative. Looks like they probably have been issuing shares from what I'm seeing there real quick. Yep. Confirming that on the income statement right here. You can see they've doubled the float. Well, 50% increase on the float over the last 2 years. And they have sporadic, bouncy net income, positive, negative, positive, negative. So that's my quick financial summary. I'd need to go through and read press releases, management outlook on the company, what's going on with it. But just looking at the financials, it's mixed bag right here. There's no clear story on NVAX that it's a compelling buy. You'd need to spend more time understanding what their products or services are, what the management outlook is, and what the plan is to get a little more consistent growth. So I'm sorry I can't give you a better answer. I don't have time to completely dig into it tonight, but that's what I got for you in 1 minute. Justin says, Tony, I've seen such a decline in views for all financial stock channels. I hope you keep doing what you've always done. And the excitement around our favorite stocks will be back. Justin, I'm just trying to hang in till the next bull market, my friend. As we said on a video about a year and a half ago, I think I titled that video, There Will be losses. And I wasn't talking about just money. A lot of people are going to go away. A lot of people are going to get zeroed out in this environment. In this environment from January 2022 to where we're at into next year, you're going to see people, especially ones that have been making very risky plays, get zeroed out. And that will change whenever the next bull market happens. Might not be next year. I hope it's next year. It's already lasted longer than I wanted it to. But that's why I'm trying to preach to you guys to look for opportunities for the bulk of your... I know some of you are stuck, and so just bear with me. For those that have free money, I want you to be thinking about considering at least investing it in profitable companies, blue chip companies, companies that have a long history of growing revenues and profits. Easily in my portfolio, all of those are green. Even ones that I just recently bought as recently as August. And over the long term, those are your buy and hold stocks. Unless the company just screws up royally, you can, if they have a long history of profits and growing revenues, you can buy and hold those comfortably, even through a bear market, and be safe in 2, 5, 10 years. We all like to gamble. I get it. A lot of my audience likes to gamble. I just don't want to see you mortgaging the house and putting all of your money in one stock, especially whether it's Mullen, BBIG, GameStop, AMC. I don't care, guys. There's 50 stocks I've watched people pour their heart and soul in. Mullen, they're all money-losing companies. That's very high risk. And in a bear market, you're going to get zeroed out if you hold them long enough. So just be careful what you're doing. And let's all be here together. I know my style of investing is very boring, but it's better than getting zeroed out. And we still have fun making those big gains on the day trades, the momentum trades, the swing trades, the short squeeze plays. But I sleep easy at night because I never over leveraged anything. And I'd just like to share a couple decades of wisdom. Some would call it idiocy. He's a shill. He don't know what he's talking about. I'd just like to share my viewpoint with you. Whether or not you choose to embrace it is up to you. Salud. Let's look at, since we were looking at NVAX short interest, let's pull up CNK. Now, I'm having a raging debate with my friend who wants to buy or did buy CNK, Cinemark. And I told him the same outlook I have for AMC, I have for Cinemark. Like, he's all excited. And I hope he's listening, by the way. We've already had this conversation in depth today. So this is not a surprise. He's excited because Cinemark has a 24% short interest. He's like, Tony, which one do you think is going to squeeze? Well, I go, as you guys know, that have been watching my channel since July of 2021, I go by reported short interest. That's all I talk to you guys about. AMC's just over 10% reported short interest. Cinemark's at 24%. But that does not really change my calculus on this because I'm a little bit bearish on Q4 for the entire industry. And when I see that Cinemark is being heavily shorted, knowing that it's institutionally owned, that is a bearish signal for me for Cinemark. They're hedging what they think is probably going to be a bad Q4. That's what I think. Maybe they're forced to hold it because they have it in index funds, or I don't know. But I'm not buying Cinemark. I don't own Cinemark, and I'm not calling it as a short squeeze play. It's concerning to me. but financially, fundamentally, they are a little bit better set up than AMC. So it is what it is. By financially, fundamentally, I mean income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement. All right, let's flip to silver real quick because Jay was asking me about silver. So Jay, what my thoughts on silver have not changed from what I've been saying for the last 2 years. For those that were asking me if I was going to buy silver and gold back in July, August, September of 2021, thoughts have not changed. I'm more of a conservative buyer on commodities. I'm not like the world is going to end tomorrow and I want to own gold. I own guns, ammo. I got plenty of bottled water and stored up food. I don't need to be buying gold and silver. A little bit of a joke there. But if I'm going to be buying gold and silver, I want to be buying them when they're more at a historic low. So for me, 18, 14, I don't know if it'll ever get back there. Maybe it won't. And that's okay. I got plenty of other ways to make money. But these tend to be very long cyclical trades. So if I'm going to hold something for 5 to 7 years, potentially, I want to be buying it as low as possible. Like I would have loved to buy gold or silver, sorry, in this range and then wait for the run up to 27. That's just me. Doesn't mean I'm going to be right. Maybe silver will go to 35, 40 bucks. But I can make more money faster, easier with a shorter hold I think, on equities, just searching for momentum trades than I can with silver. And I get, the higher something goes, the more worried I get that it's going to get dropped back down. So it really just depends on what your economic outlook is. Like I think eventually the economy is going to recover and you'll see these commodity prices come back down. I can't tell you a time frame, but I'm not thinking about tomorrow, next week, or next quarter. I'm thinking out like what's going to happen in the next year. So I don't want to be buying silver near all-time highs. That's just me. Just my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm going to be right. And certainly do what you wish. Justin says, I thought CNK was going through bankruptcy. CNK is Cinemark, Justin. Cineworld went through bankruptcy. That is a different company. And Cinemark's doing just fine. Let me pull up the risk dashboard just so we'll do a quick comparison. Cineworld went bankrupt and it got taken private and it's owned by the lenders now. Cinemark is doing okay. So here is the bottom right. All right, here is the AMC dashboard. Just compare. This is just my pictorial representation to you guys of how I'm looking at the risk based on financial ratios and kind of like how Wall Street is looking at it. You look at something like a Costco. All of these boxes, for the most part, I have formulas down here. And depending on what the number is in this box, it either makes it green, yellow, or red. So it's very non-emotional. It's just basic finance. And if we look at an AMC, there's a lot of yellow and red. So this is a very high risk play. We look at Cinemark, a lot more green. Let me flip back and forth. Key things to look at on the the top left, Cinemark is profitable. AMC is not. Top right, Cinemark has a positive working capital, the ability to pay their bills over the next 12 months. On the balance sheet, that's current assets versus current liabilities. Cinemark is in great shape. AMC, horrible. AMC has, I think, negative $2 billion working capital deficit. So if you're just wondering, why is AMC priced so low? Why is it being shorted? Why does Tony been telling you for the last year the company needs to raise money and that the financials are not okay? That's a big deal. Like, I know a lot of people hate me and say a lot of bad shit about me because I talk about the financials, but you can't put your head in the sand and ignore this shit. Total current assets for AMC quarterly, is this AMC? Feels like something's not right here. AMC, total current assets. Let me just try. This number looks too good. I feel like sometimes stockanalysis.com gets confused. All right. Total current assets, 900 million. Total current liabilities, 1.7 billion. Working capital negative. This does not seem right. Seems way better than I remember it being. Let me check one other website. Then maybe I don't have to be so bearish. Maybe we don't have to be so worried. Yeah, they say working capital is only negative 548 million. If that is true, if this is correct, then, if they do another cash raise of 350 million, you almost clear up the working capital problem. But as I've been saying, the reason they're doing these cash raises is to fix the working capital deficit. You want to have enough cash to pay your bills over the next 12 months. So it's been no surprise to me that they needed to raise cash, and they're doing as management what they need to do to fix the balance sheet, to make sure they have enough cash to pay the bills. And that is what it is. I mean, I know it's not popular. You guys think that the management's ripping you off. They're literally trying not to go bankrupt. It's not complicated. If you think I'm a shill, if you don't like what I'm telling you, if you want to sue me for negligence and lying, go find your own CPA, do a video, and have them run through this balance sheet for you. And I will debate any CPA that wants to say different. And I'm not even an accountant. This is 7th grade level stuff. AMC needs to raise money. Regal, Justin. Regal is Cinemark. The one, CNK. How about URI, United Rentals? I don't know about that company, Mr. J. Chris says, which stock has more squeeze potential? It doesn't matter. The shorts need to be surprised. That too. We talked about that when we were having our conversation earlier today. Like, I feel like this is just a feeling. Like, if Cinemark's being shorted 24%, I feel like that is more hedging institutions, Cinemark being more institutionally owned. And maybe they don't want to get rid of their position, but they're hedging by going short so that if the stock falls, which they think it probably will in Q4 and maybe in Q1, they can as the stock falls and they're holding their shares, they can still make money by shorting. Let me fire up a cigar here. But to your point, there's got to be a catalyst, right? Whether it be Cinemark, AMC, any company that's heavily shorted, you got to have a catalyst that gets buyers coming in. So I don't know what that is for the movie industry right now. This quarter, I don't know what that is. Justin says, check out the executive salaries of Cinemark versus AMC. AMC is paid much more than Cinemark execs are. That is true, Justin. I haven't done a deep dive on Cinemark. I've done a drive-by, and you are correct. Maybe I'll do a video comparing them, but I think that the base salary is comparable. Cinemark is a little lower, but the AMC executives are getting bonused with stock shares, and then those bonuses from 2020, 2021, 2022, they all stack. And as we said on the live stream a couple nights ago, I'd like to see the targets that the AMC compensation committee sets to hand out these bonuses, these RSUs and PSUs. I'd like to see the targets made a little bit more challenging so that they don't get an easy layup, so that they don't get 2x their target bonus. And until the company's profitable, I think that's a reasonable request. That's fine. Like, I want them incentivized in stock. If the executives are bonused in stock, then they are aligned with you. If the stock doesn't do good, doesn't matter how many stocks they get for their bonus. If it's going down, they're fucked. So we want them bonused in stock. We want them to make decisions that ultimately make the stock price go up. But I'd like the targets for the quantity of stock that they get to be a little more aggressive, a little more challenging. That's just what I think. Trey's Mustache says, Clay Bro might go to New York City for the GameStop Santa Con meetup. Do you know any other influencers? I did look around, Mr. Mustache, on Twitter to find anybody talking about SantaCon. I found 3 accounts with about 20 followers talking about it, and I could not find anybody else talking about it. So if you know anyone who's talking it up, hit me up on Twitter DM. I'm happy to retweet something, but I don't usually retweet things. But if there genuinely is a movement of people that are interested in dressing up as Roaring Kitty for SantaCon, I'm happy to help push the word out. Seems pretty harmless, but I couldn't find really any engagement on Twitter on that topic. Sly Derm V says 200 million loss projected 2024. Are we talking about AMC? So a lot of people got mad at me 2 nights ago when I said, keep your expectations in check, as GameStop was running and AMC was running. And then today you kind of got a glimpse into what I was thinking, right? We had a little pullback. I'd love to be surprised and be wrong. I'm just trying to be as realistic as possible. And I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm very unpopular because I tell you what I think, whether you want to hear it or not. So my goal really at this point is, as always, tell you my thoughts in the moment, whether they're popular or not. So you have that as one more data point to do your own DD, and I know for every one Tony Denaro, there's 50 people telling you it's going to 1,000 a share or 100,000 a share. Time ultimately will decide who is right. Table Rock Guy, what's up, my friend? Gus, how you doing? Can we look at STBX? Yes. Give me 1 second. William says AMC fundamentals are terrible. I agree. As we've been saying for a year now, over a year. This is why they need to raise cash. That's why, well, we don't need to keep going over that. I feel like we're beating a dead horse. Just infuriates me that people are mad at me for saying that the company needs to raise cash. The amount of people that are still saying the company's doing just fine financially is shocking to me. Like, have you ever talked to an accountant and have them look at it? Don't listen to me. Like, go find your own independent CPA. Find your friend from college. I've walked you guys through it 100 times. I wish I had something better to say. I'm just like trying to be realistic. The company needs to raise money. It's very basic. What the heck happened to this company, my friend? Damn. They came out of the gate with a pop to $46, currently trading at 21 cents. Ouch, just a year later. Do I think it can go over $1? Well, I don't know anything about Starbucks. The chart is not looking too great. What are they doing different that's going to get them over $1? That'd be my question to you. Drop your comment in the comments and let me know. Have I looked into how Robinhood offers 24-hour equity trading? Douglas, thank you for the question. Yes, I have. I spent 10 minutes looking into it last night or this morning. So there is a couple things, and you can go to Robinhood's website and read this for yourself. I didn't do as deep of a dive as I wanted to because I started running into some roadblocks, and they didn't disclose as much as I wanted to see. But basically in their disclosure, what they say is they have a 24-hour market maker and they have a 24-hour, I'm putting air quotes because it's 8 p.m. to whatever time they stop, a 24-hour ATS, alternative trading system, whatever the S stands for. You know what I'm talking about. And it's called BOATS, BOATS. And what they said in their pop-up disclosure is that the stocks that they decided to offer for 24-hour trading were the ones that had the most activity on BOATS over, I think, the last 6 months. Like, I'm familiar with various ATSs, but I had not heard of BOATS before. So that is, when I have a little more free time, something that I'll look into and do a video. And then I started looking into what other brokers offer 24-hour trading. Like, I didn't know that Interactive Brokers offers 24-hour trading, but not on AMC and GameStop. And BOATS is a ATS that caters to customers that want 24-hour trading. So seems like Robinhood is taking advantage of that. Why are they doing it? I know that there's a lot of conspiracies, a lot of, they want you to buy these stocks or sell them, da 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 da. They want to make money. Bottom line, they want to make money. If they see that there's a lot of interest in trading a stock and they can make money by selling that volume to a ATS who's going to rebate them on the trades, they're going to do it. It's really that simple in my mind. I don't get into all the conspiracy stuff. Everything that's done in Wall Street is how can we make money off of these fuckers? They saw opportunity to make money, and so they're going to grab it. And I would be very careful about trading in a illiquid after hours pool where you could get wrecked in the morning when the rest of the brokers and the exchanges come online. I'd just be careful about that. There's no guarantee because you run it up overnight on Robinhood that once everybody wakes up and all the rest of the liquidity pool of other shares is available, probably anybody that has shares, if like GameStop, you run it up to $17 overnight. And I was someone who bought in at 12, then the day before on NYSE and my Fidelity account. Fuck yeah, I'm going to be selling that. Thank you. $5 gain overnight. All your hard work, rug pulled. I'm not a big fan of the one broker offering retail overnight trading. I will not be participating in that. I also saw someone post, I think it might have been Marcel, and I couldn't find the terms and conditions on the 24-hour tradings, but on the 24-hour trades, but it would make sense because I talked about this a couple nights ago. There could be liquidity issues on the 24-hour trading, and they very easily could take away the buy button from you. So, and what I did see on the Robinhood disclosures is you could have bad fills. You could have wide spreads. Just be careful if you're getting excited about the Robinhood. I know most of you probably are not excited about it. You think it's a scam. I'm gonna go with that. It's probably a scam. They're just trying to take your money. Not that they care about your shares. They want your trades. They want the volume. Every trade you can make on any platform is just money in their pocket. Same reason why some stocks, they try and create options on them. If they think they can make money selling you options, someone's gonna apply to create an options chain. Mac Attack says, I sell covered calls on AMC. I don't see us squeezing anytime soon unless Adam Aaron gets out. I have not been doing that for the last couple of years, Mac Attack, but I did just start doing it in August. And in retrospect, we talked about this a couple nights ago. In retrospect, all of us probably should have been doing that for the last 2 years. And hat tip to you if you have been doing it. I switched up my whole strategy for AMC after the reverse split went through, including I do own shares right now. My cost basis is around $6.11. And someone asked me today on Discord, how could you be at $6.11? It hasn't been that low because I'm selling covered calls. So if I got in at 670 and I sold covered calls against it for 60 cents, that's dropping my basis by $60 every 100 shares. And I'm going to keep on doing that till for every lot of 100 that I have, I'm going to keep lowering my cost basis so that I'm holding what I'd like to consider risk-free. Risk-free really depends on how much, if any, additional dilution AMC does. But if you're holding shares in lots of 100 or more, you can sell covered calls against that. Why was I against it for the last 2 years? Because I was hopeful for another run-up. And I talked about this many times. Like, I don't want to have calls. Let's go back a year. I don't want to be selling covered calls with a $35 strike, because what if it runs up to 70 and I lose my shares? They get sold out from under me for $35. I'm just past. I'm over it. I'm over it at this point. Let's make some fucking money, especially if you got out of the trade, if you held up until the reverse split or through the reverse split. It's time to fix your losses, whatever it takes. And so I've been selling covered calls on the shares that I've been buying. I've been trading it, buying on the dip, selling on the rips. I bought a couple months ago between $7 and $8 and sold it on the run up to my highest price that I got out of right before Q3 earnings was $11.20. So that was about 50 to 60% gains in 30 days or so. And now I'm rebuying. I'm rebuying with those profits. Stick around, ask questions, shoot me a DM, join the Discord. We talk about all this stuff. It's way past time to get past the mentality of what we've lived through for the last couple of years and figure out if you still want to trade it, if you still want to own it. I get it. I'm there with you. Like I said, I own shares again right now that I just bought a week or two ago, but I'm taking smart steps to reduce my basis and make it a more risk-free hold. And just to reiterate what I said, I don't see a major catalyst for Q4 and Q1. So I'm just looking to play it smart for the next six months. That might not mean that I hold it. Might mean that I just look for a dip and sell into some upward momentum. Jay says Beyonce is selling out at all theaters. We went to go see Godzilla Minus One tonight, and there were Beyonce fans in the house. Beyonce was showing at the theater. They were buying them buckets, the Beyonce popcorn buckets. And I have been keeping track of the Beyonce ticket sales here in my local area, looking at what theaters are filling up. And it's going to be a good one. Most of the 7 to 9 p.m. time slots are completely sold out. You can go at 10:30, 10 p.m., 11:30 a.m., and not have to deal with a full theater. But I think the Beyonce concert series is going to be a nice little adder for AMC in Q4. I know some AMC haters are poo-pooing on it. Do I think it's going to be $1 billion? No. Is it going to beat Taylor Swift? Probably not. But it's going to be a nice addition and a welcome addition. And we will be going to see Beyonce. And they are higher. Yes, the ticket prices of Beyonce are much higher than Taylor Swift. So the little bit of information I have filtering in from folks in my Discord that are feeding me from their local areas is that Beyonce is selling out in their local areas too. So don't let anybody tell you that it's not going to be impactful. It will help. And I'm really looking forward to Monday that either AMC or Cinemark releases a press release saying how well that they did over the weekend. Mac Attack says, how much is your Discord? The Discord is free, Mac Attack, for anybody that is just a supporter of the channel. So what is a supporter of the channel? Just hit the join button on YouTube or go over to Patreon. $5 a month. There's a couple more expensive options if you want to support more, but it's $5. And a lot of people that are members of the channel aren't in the Discord. I don't know why. Like, why would you? I appreciate the support, but why would you not take advantage of that free Discord? That is, if I'm not live during the day, I'm watching the Discord, talking to folks, answering questions, and in the VIP, sharing trades as I do them. Not that I want you to follow my trades, not that I'm giving you trades, but some people are just like, hey, Tony, I want to know, what are you doing? Justin says, anybody know why there are a lot of traders switching to trading futures instead of stocks? I don't know, Justin. What I can tell you is I've looked into futures trading, and I've looked at some well-known YouTubers that cover the finance sector, and they're like, I'm going to try futures trading for a week. I'm going to put $1,000 in a futures account, and I'll post my daily updates and let you know. And almost without exception, they all lost their money. So it's just my back of the envelope comment to you that the people that are saying that they're making money on futures are probably the people that are selling courses. All the independent people that bought these courses or tried to follow the strategies all lost their money. Doesn't mean that if you're super smart or super lucky that you can't make money. That's just been my little bit of DD on that. When I look at people that I trust or that seem trustworthy, that are doing their own independent analysis, they all lost their money, all of it. One day I might do the 1 week challenge on trading futures, but even when I look at the exchanges that allow you to trade futures, the plans that they set up, I don't know that I can explain it perfectly tonight, but a lot of it's rigged against the retail trader. Chris says, if you can find out the details on GameStop meetup in New York City for SantaCon, let me know. If you can find anybody that is pushing GameStop SantaCon that's not a person on Twitter with only 20 followers, let me know. I just don't know where that is coming from. Where is this whole GameStop SantaCon thing coming from? Because I did a search this morning and I could only find 3 people on Twitter talking about it, and they all had 20 followers. Pop Squash, good evening to you from Connecticut. Let's talk about Godzilla for a second. If you're just joining in, welcome. We just got back from Godzilla about an hour ago, Godzilla Minus One. All right, here's my thoughts on Godzilla Minus One. This movie is made in Japan. It's in Japanese. It's English subtitles. I am a child of the 60s. I grew up, the original Godzilla was filmed, I think, in 1954 in black and white. I grew up in the era of Godzilla versus Mothra. I grew up in the era of King Kong, where he climbed up the Twin Towers. Who was the director of that movie? Somebody famous. Anyways, I grew up in the classical era of monster movies. Like, I did not go see Godzilla versus Kong 2 years ago because I'm just not a huge fan of overdone CGI monster movies. And I'm going to give you my honest opinion right now. $15 million it cost them to make this movie, Godzilla Minus One, because there's no big stars. There's no fancy computer graphics, no green screen, maybe some green screen, but as a cinephile, as someone who enjoys movies the way they're meant to be made, I got a lot of enjoyment out of Godzilla Minus One. I saw some people on Twitter saying I didn't like that they had captions. I found that to be a weak argument. The captions were very easy to read and still follow the story. What I liked was just the, they went to the very basics of a good film. The sets were good. The actors were believable, in the campy way that you have a Japanese monster movie. You get invested in the characters a little bit. There was a lot of storytelling. I felt like I was watching a 1970s Godzilla brought to modern day. So imagine or even a 1954 Godzilla. 1954 Godzilla that looked realistic, not a man in a costume stomping around on a miniature set. It looked legit, but it did not look overdone. Didn't look fake like some of the newer shit that we see, like the Marvel movies or the Kong versus Godzilla. So in that respect, I liked it. Do I think it's going to be a blockbuster? No. I looked around and the projections are that maybe it'll make 40 to 100 million bucks. It's not a lot. But for the production house on a $15 million budget, that if it makes 100 million, they'll come out okay. And, I'd like to encourage you guys to learn to appreciate film. I'm just not a huge fan of like the superhero movies. It's just so tiring and too much. It's just too much. I enjoy a movie like The Holdovers, that one that I think you can still go see. Or this, Godzilla Minus One, just a simple film with good direction and good production. Julie says, I heard it was too much AI. Are you talking about Godzilla? I don't think so. I literally felt like I was watching a 1970s movie brought into 2023. It was very simple for a Godzilla. A lot of classical throwback scenes to the 1954 original Godzilla. Michael says, what was the income over the weekend? We're just going into the weekend, Michael. So I think today was the first day you could legit see Godzilla. There was a sneak preview, I think, in some cities for AMC stub members yesterday. But for the general public, today was the first day. And I think it's maybe projected to bring in 8 million this weekend. It's not going to be huge. But I do want to give it, the reason that we're doing this live stream tonight is I want I want to encourage you to go see it. And I want to encourage you guys to some of you already are, I know, but to appreciate film, appreciate filmmaking, to appreciate the place, appreciate the lighting, to appreciate the story that the director is trying to tell you. For me, I'm not all about these crazy CGI movies. They're fun, but they get taxing on your brain. I was laughing when I woke up this morning. Some of y'all might have seen it on my community tab. Someone got really mad at me overnight in the comments. What are you doing, Tony Denaro? How dare you do a movie review? How dare you tell us your thoughts on a movie? You're just pumping AMC. Come on, bro. If you don't know anything about me in the last 2-3 years, you should know that I enjoy movies. Whether I'm holding AMC or not, I will always be going to movies. Always. As it happens to be right now, at the moment, I'm holding AMC, and whether I'm holding it or not, there's still a lot of my friends and you guys that are holding AMC, and maybe some of y'all are really down in it. I will support you or myself or both by spending my money at a place that I choose, because I'm going to go see the fucking movies anyways. If I can contribute to the bottom line of AMC by spending my dollars on an A-list membership and a ridiculous expenditure amount on alcohol and food, because that is what matters more than buying the stock, then I'm happy to do that at AMC. We have some great theaters in my area. Got some great staff. Many of them know me just because I'm there so much. And look, if you don't like the fact that I like movies, go suck it. You know, I'm 50 something years old. I don't spend all my free time playing games. Take my wife out on a date and we go to a movie and we have a drink. You don't like it? Sorry. Michael says, Tony, have you thought about buying any of the streaming services? You mean like buying the stocks, Michael, or buying them like for our household? Justin says, these people just want to talk shit no matter what you say or post. Yeah, you are correct, Justin. And if you're one of those mental midgets that wants to come on my channel and say, how dare you give us a movie review? That for me is like an Insta block. I block them so they can never comment on my channel. Tell me something intelligent, like I don't like AMC, I don't like this movie, I don't like the director. That's fine. Like, we can have a discussion. If you don't like something, that's cool. But to say, why are you doing movie reviews? Bro. Come on. I take my son also to ones that I know he's going to enjoy, Justin. Justin says he's taking his son to see Migration on the 22nd. I feel like, because we were so busy over Thanksgiving, Justin, I got behind on a lot of movies. And I feel I watched 3 movies this week at AMC. Not because I think that my one little ticket is going to make a difference at AMC, there are a fuck ton of movies that I want to see before they get off of the big screen. And there's a bunch more coming out between now and the end of December. So you can expect, I'm sorry to the haters, you can expect more movie reviews from me over the next couple weeks. All right, Michael says the stock like WBD Para Disney, which also started their dividend back of 30 cents. All right, what are we talking about here? Are you asking if they made Godzilla, Michael? Not that I'm aware of. I think this was a Japanese production house that made this movie. And one of the more famous Japanese directors was in charge of this production. I wish that good movies like this, like classic, good art, would be more appreciated by the American audiences. I think this movie will do best in Japan. I don't know how it will do globally or in the US. We'll find out. We'll find out on Monday. Don't have high expectations. But I'll talk it up because I think that people should appreciate good movies like this. Justin says, I wish I had time to go to more movies, just too busy. I feel you, my friend. A lot of times, if it's a wonky trading day, like I'll get my trades in the morning, go see a movie midday, and then try and get back home to close out by the end of the day. That's what I did yesterday. I put my Tesla trade in the morning, went to go see a movie, and closed out that trade when I got home. One of the small benefits of working from home and working for yourself. And don't think I haven't lived your life. I worked a corporate job for 15 years, 60 to 80 hours a week. Plus, I was in the military reserves. Plus, I had rental properties. I mean, I've lived that life of having no life. So I can sympathize where you're at of not having free time. Michael, I'm not sure where you're going with your thoughts on the streaming services, but here just my general thoughts on streaming services. If we talk about Netflix, Paramount Plus, yada, 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 HBO Plus, all of them, there's so many streaming services right now, Michael, that in general, they're all having to cut back. They all over budgeted, and they over forecast the amount of income that they were going to bring in. Disney Plus too. I think they're all having to cut back. The realization has set in that streaming services is not as easy a money grab as they thought, and there's a lot of competition. So in that respect, I think that the cinemas in the long term will be fine. And the streaming services are going to have to figure out how to make a profit. But the other part of what I want to say is we do subscribe to some of them because we cut the cord on cable about a year ago, but we still enjoy watching some movies from time to time or some streaming series. So I remember at one point I canceled pretty much everything. I think after Game of Thrones ended, I canceled everything. And my wife was like, but I want to watch X. I want to watch Y. I want to watch Z. I was like, all right, well then you sign up for it. I'm not paying for it because I just don't care about watching TV that much. So I think right now we have Netflix, Paramount Plus. We have Amazon Prime because I'm an Amazon Prime member. And I don't know what else we have. Nothing I'm paying for, Michael. Matt says, how has AMC not completed the ATM offering yet? Good question, Matt. A lot of debate on that topic. We had several conversations on it in Discord today on voice in the morning and then later in the afternoon. And we talked about it a couple nights ago on the live stream. So my general thoughts on it is that probably the most likely scenario, let me bring up AMC here. The most likely scenario, and again, I can't tell you with certainty what's going on, but in general, from the consultants that deal with corporations and secondary offerings, what they will generally tell, from my reading, what they will generally tell corporations is that about 10% of your daily volume should be sold in a secondary offering. So if we add up all this daily volume for the last couple of weeks, if that presumption is accurate, that 10% of the daily volume has been sold by AMC, which I think it has been, my opinion only, can't tell you for sure. We have 4 to 5 more days. So by end of next week would be my guesstimate that the at the market will be done. And I do think they're selling, and I do think that will stifle any ability for the price to run up until they're done. So I'm looking, for me, not financial advice, to buy in as cheap as I can right now, assuming this is my DD, my thesis, that by next week the ATM will be done and we'll get some announcement, and that over the next 30 days, 60 days after that, there will be some slight increase in the price. Just like right here, where you had the ATM and it came down to around $7 and then ran up to $11.20. So I'm looking to be a buyer in this range, and then I'll be looking to be a seller at 10 to 11. Because I don't think the industry is going to be great in Q4 or Q1, but I do think that there will be some appreciation in the price once the announcement comes out that the ATM is done. That's just my DD. Might not be popular. It served me well between September and November 7th. Michael says, I was shocked that Disney started the dividend back of 30 cents on Wednesday. I think I missed doing a Disney earnings update, Michael, as I was reviewing that, what's his name, had asked for 2 seats on the board on the news this morning. I was like, shit, did I miss doing a video update on the Disney earnings? So I might crank one out tomorrow on Disney. So I'm up a decent percentage on my Disney position, having bought in between $79 and $83. It's come down a little bit in the past couple days, but I was buying down here. I got a lot of hate. A lot of people want Disney to fail. I'm not a fan of any of Disney's policies, guys. I'm a fan of buying good stocks cheap. Really that simple for me. Don't ever mistake me covering a stock for me agreeing with what management is doing. I was buying down here, and I laid out the case for you back in August why. And it's ran as high as $96, currently at $92.69. So I probably owe you a video. Yeah, they did earnings on 11/8. I'm a month late on covering that. How did I miss that? But for me, Disney is a 5 to 10 year hold, or until the point that I think the price runs up, that it is overvalued based on their current strategy and fundamentals. So I'm only going to do updates on companies like this once a quarter or so. Matt says, is there a source to check the float day by day? Another great question, Matt. No. Until the company publishes a 8K, a 10Q, or some official document, we don't know what the float is for any company that's doing dilution. Now, on many, many companies over the last couple of years, I've given you guys some estimates of what I think the float is. And I think you'll see that the float of AMC will be increased by 40 to 50 million shares, and the market cap will go up. Remember, the market cap of AMC is the price times the current float. So if you add 40 or 50 million shares, that's going to bump up the market cap considerably when it is published what the current float is. But until AMC gives us an official SEC document, 8K or 10Q, we don't know. Nobody knows. And there's no requirement for them to disclose that, except on the 10Q. If they haven't issued a press release or an 8K, you won't know until the next quarterly statement. Bryce, what's up? He says, do you think it's funny how GameStop and AMC traded identical yesterday? When GameStop went up, AMC did also, and when it went down, AMC went down. I don't think that it is funny. I think that a lot of these meme stocks are traded in baskets. And besides that, we know from just casual observation that there's a lot of people pumping these things based on the thesis of a short squeeze, and people get irrationally exuberant, and the squeeze is about to happen. So no, not. I don't find it unusual that they both ran at the same time and they both came down at the same time. Matt says AMC trading at 67 cents right now, pre-reverse split. That is true, Matt, if you think in terms of that. I think in terms of market cap. And I believe, what's the AMC market cap right now? So I want to just give you something else to think about, because I know the price is depressing. 1.32 billion. If we assume that there's another 50 million in the float because of dilution, what would that be? 250 million times 665. That'd give you a market cap of around 1.6 billion. When there were no movies being shown, I see a lot of people saying the market cap, the price is lower now than it was in 2020. That's bad DD. That's a bear trying to trick you. Look at the market cap. Let's just say the market cap is 1.6 billion if most of the dilution's done. In 2020, when there were no movies, the market cap was around 500 million. So we're at 3x that. And why is it lower? Because Q4 and Q1, the company's probably going to lose money, and there is a risk of dilution. So it's reasonable for the price to be low. Like we've been talking about on this channel for over a year, the company needs to fix the balance sheet. And the actors and writers strike were going to have an impact. It's lower than I ever thought it would be, but it's not out of the realms of being reasonably priced in terms of market cap. I know that sucks. But just trying to keep it as real as we can. Yeah. Zach says, market cap may be 3x, but your portfolio isn't. That is why I got out of the trade, Zach. That's why I got out of the trade before the reverse split. And I caught a lot of shit. And a lot of people, I told you when I got out of the trade. And I told you when I bought back in after it dropped down to 7. And I told you that the reverse split was likely to be approved and the lawsuit was likely to be dismissed and yada, yada, yada. All the DD has been given on this channel, and we were not incorrect about anything. It's up to you guys to decide what you do. I'm not here to tell you how to trade. All I can do is tell you what I think is going to happen. I'm not always right. But if I'm telling you what I think is going to happen, you can imagine that I'm probably going to make my trading decisions based on what I'm telling you I think is going to happen. So I got out after Zern's decision, waited for the price to come down, and rebought back in. And that is, yeah, I got hit a little bit from holding from 2021 into 2023. Thank God Ape gave us a little bit of ability to recoup some of those losses. And I'm tired of talking about that stuff. Like we've beat it to death. I've told you my thoughts for over a year. People don't like what I say. You want to think that Judge Zern's on your side because she has a degree in bioethics. Then you do you, bro. It's not my job or my intent here to ever tell you how to trade. All I'm going to do is share my opinions on what I think is going to happen. What is going to be the most likely outcome? Zach says he's personally banking on AMC going bankrupt. All right, I'll tell you my thoughts on that, Zach. We've got 198 million shares currently outstanding, plus another, let's say 50 million being sold right now. So that'll make it about 250 million. And they have the ability to raise up to 500 million. So I don't think that AMC is in any immediate risk of going bankrupt, to be honest. They have 250 million more shares to sell. Now, for investors, and again, I'm going to say this very slowly like I did for the past year, I don't want you to discount the impact of what 250 million more shares could do to your price. Now, do I know how many they're going to sell? Do I know at what price they're going to sell them? I don't know any of that. But I don't want you to get so excited by listening to the pumpers who've all blocked me on Twitter and YouTube, etc. Don't want you to get so convicted in your play that you ignore the fact that this company has a working capital deficit and and that they're likely to lose money cash-wise in Q4 and Q1. So all I can say in the most benign way is play it smart. I'll tell you what I'm doing. If you ask, I'm happy. I'm transparent. Happy to tell you what I'm doing, how I'm trading it. I'm not a buy and hold to zero on any play type of guy. Capital preservation. Is the name of the game. Because if you want to be here and you want to fight market corruption and you want to keep on bothering Gary Gensler and asking for more transparency on FTDs, yada, 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 I need you in the game. I need you not to go to zero. I need you to not be emotional in a play. I need you to look at the financials. I need you to read the risk disclosures. We're not in 2021 anymore. I need you to admit to yourself that the actors and writers strike might have an impact on how 2024 looks. I don't know yet. I keep on getting people asking me in the Discord, what are your thoughts on next year? People are making videos already with predictions for 2024. I'm not going to make a prediction on 2024. The actors strike vote is not even done yet. Another week. Way too early to make any 2024 predictions. Let's get that vote done. December 6th, I think, is the final date where all the members of the Actors Guild can vote. Let's get that under our belt. Let's make sure that passed. Let's make sure that risk is off the table. And then, over the coming weeks, the remainder of December, maybe we'll get some updates on the 2024 calendar. It's not looking super fantastic to me right now, but I don't want to come out and say 2024 is going to suck. I don't know. I mean, what if somebody pulls movies back in to 2024? So, maybe end of December, I'll give you my thoughts on that. Just, I think, way too early to be making 2024 calls. I'm more looking like whatever happens in 2024, I don't know, but 2025 is really the year I'm looking at. If the box office continues to recover. Damrick says, I'm getting out before the end of the year. I need the write-off at this time. Damrick, you got to do what you got to do, buddy. Like I've said to folks in the Discord, and I've said to you guys, I made a lot of money in June of 2021. Before I turned on the camera, before I started this channel, there was zero chance I would ever be read on AMC. Because I was watching Trey and Matt. I was not doing YouTube. And I had shares and call options which I sold at a very healthy profit in that run-up. And then I was bullish for most of 2021, thinking that we could have a second run-up. And we didn't. And I bought shares at a high price. And I lost money on those shares, holding them all the way with you guys down into the gutter, into the mid part of 2023. But then became obvious what was going to happen to me with the reverse split and lawsuit and the need to raise cash. So I had to change strategies. And that, I get it. That was not a popular opinion, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not a write it to zero type of guy. So I took a little hit on my AMC shares. I flipped them I think AMC was at 8, and whatever day AMC was at 8, and APE was really cheap. There was like a 1 day, 2 day window where you could make a good flip there. And I flipped them to APE pretty cheap. And then APE ran up after Zern's decision, and I got a nice run up on those, which helped me recover some of my losses on the AMC from the shares that I held. But I mean, all the shares that I held were free if you consider the money I made on options back in June of 2021. So, and I'm not a mortgage your house, put all your money on one play type of guy to begin with. I just don't leverage my risk on a money losing company that highly. Everyone always, why is Tony so calm? Because I'm not over leveraged. If you're not sleeping well at night, you have too much risk. You have too much leverage on one play. And I want to help you guys shift your mindset and not do that. Jay says, you just said it ain't going to zero. I don't think that AMC is in any immediate risk of going to zero. Yeah. But I'm just like, I'm thinking, Jay, about all of the other tickers that I watch. I watch every retail community. Every ticker you can think of. BBIG, MMTLP, Mullen, BBBYQ. They all say the same thing. I will write it to zero. Fuck that. Fuck that. Now, I don't think AMC is going to zero in anytime soon. But if you have some DD that you think that they're going to continue diluting, or that maybe the next couple quarters might be bad, I think you should think about how do you weather that storm? I'm thinking about it. I talk about it every day in the Discord, and I'm happy to answer your questions about how I think about it and what I'm doing. You might not like what I say. But it is what it is. A lot of these retail companies, let's just talk about Mullen for a second. They need to raise capital. Mullen has disclosed in company documents that they have enough cash to last till June 2024. Okay? That's a company document. They're okay until June 2024. Do you think they've done the calculus on how many units they're going to sell between now and June? Of course they have. Do you think then, knowing that they're going to need to dilute more or raise more debt in June, do you think it's a smart buy to be trying to average down Mullen right now? I don't. Why would you? Why would you? So bottom line, it just comes to read the financials, believe what the company is telling you in the 10Qs and the 8Ks. Fuck everybody on social media. Sometimes we get lucky, and social media overcomes all the bad news on the 10Qs and the 8Ks. Absolutely. But I don't set up my portfolio betting on that. I set up my portfolio betting on companies that have a long history of profits, increasing revenues, increasing profits, and then I will gamble a small percent on the other plays. That's how you stay in this for 30 years. Jay says Mullen options have been bought like crazy. There are people, Mr. J, do you know who I'm talking about? That are imploring people to buy call options on Mullen right now. And this particular person that I'm talking about, I watched him make $1 million on GameStop, and I watched him lose $1 million on YouTube. Betting risky options. Don't be that guy. He is urging his followers to load up on Mullen options. Look, I mean, if you like to go to the horse races and bet on the dark horse, and that dark horse wins, and occasionally they do win, you'll make 99-1 odds. You'll fucking rake it in. But I've been to the horse races in Hot Springs, Arkansas, many times. And I've bet on the dark horse occasionally, never won. You got to realize when it's 99-1, that means you have about a 1% chance of winning also. So you want to buy those really, really cheap options on Mullen? As long as you're okay with realizing like 99% chance you're just burning money in the fireplace, then knock yourself out. If I was going to do that, you know, I'd put in a day's pay into something like that. I certainly wouldn't throw my whole portfolio into that. I get the allure, the attraction. Guys, we're going to spend $1,000 and we could be a millionaire. Absolutely, if you're right. But chances are the Mullen reverse split's going to happen, and chances are Mullen's going to need to raise additional cash according to their own documents. That's not me being bearish. That's like reading the company filings. It's not a great setup. Michael talking about HRL. Let me pull that one up, Michael. Whoops. HRL. Hormel. Recent high of $53, currently at $30. PE ratio is 18, which is a reasonable PE ratio in this market. The low back in 2017 was $26. Michael, I think this is one that I would add to my must investigate list. I like to see a good company like Hormel that's had a serious pullback. I don't know anything about the financials of this company, but I love to see a good pullback like this. So I would need to spend a day, 4 or 5 hours, going through 2 years worth of financials and management commentary to determine, do I wait for $26 or do I start jumping in now? That's a great stock to consider, Michael. But I would need to do some work on it. And just like Disney and Target, other companies that had major run-ups and then major pullbacks based on investors not liking them, if you can get in at the right price, it'd be a fantastic buy. I'm going to add that to my my list, and I'll look into it this week or this weekend. Just based on the chart and knowing the company name, I like what I see. I need to look at the financials. Need to figure out what's going on here. Total revenue's growing. It's down a little bit. Let's go to a better tool. HRL. Quarterly income. All right. 30 seconds. How can you tell if a company is a good buy or not? Do they have a long history of growing revenues? Look at that. Yes. Hormel does. They've stalled out over the last 2 years, though. I know this is small. I'm sorry. I don't know if I can make the chart bigger. There we go. A long history of growing revenues. Stalled out since 2020. Net income, what's it look like? Net income, not looking so good. Even though the top line revenues have been growing, you can see that net income chart is showing some negative bias. That's why the price is going down. So then you need to spend some time understanding why that is happening and what, if anything, are they doing to fix it. Balance sheet. Current assets looks okay. 3.2 billion versus current liabilities, 2.3 billion. That's all right. Current debt, long-term debt, 2.3 billion. Working capital, though, current assets versus current liabilities, we're in good shape. Shareholders' equity is positive. That is good. Cash flow, operating cash flow is positive. I mean, there's a decent story here. You need to convince yourself that they're going to have a turnaround on net income. So it's one worth spending some time looking into. Let's just say that. I like that story of a good company that's getting beaten down and everybody hates it. If everybody hates it, I want to figure out if I can like it. Juicy, what's up, Juicy? Tim H says, just think of the battery production coming. Power storage is going to be big. Also, if retail owns most of the float and the reverse split is voted down, Mullen will pop up like crazy. I hope so. I don't know, Tim, if you were on the call last night. I spent 3 hours on a Mullen call last night. I just love to listen in on these space calls of the different retail communities. You guys wonder what I'm doing with my day. I'm watching every community and listening. Sometimes last night they asked me to come up and talk, and I did for a bit. And I love to get in the mind of the retail traders in these plays and see what they're thinking. There are a lot of people hoping that the Mullen reverse split gets voted down. And it might. It might, right? But the problem is, much like with AMC and many stocks where retail owns most of the float, they don't show up to vote. And so here's my guess on Mullen, and I could be wrong. We'll find out in a couple of weeks. Just back of the envelope of the expected votes that I expect to show up on the Mullen vote. think all the insiders will vote, and they will carry 45% of the votes that show up. We'll do a fact check on this in 2 weeks. Insiders will hold 45% of the votes that show up, and they only need 50% to win. I think that's a very small gap to close. So it's not impossible that the reverse split could be voted down. But if I was a gambling man, I would gamble that the reverse split will pass. Now, for you retail traders that are in Mullen, if you don't want it to pass, well, then I'm gonna say my prayers and hope that you get your way. I don't care. I'm not in the play at all. I'm just watching it from a matter of curiosity at this point. Zach says, Tony, do you play SPY options? I do occasionally, Zach. In fact, I have puts on the SPY that I bought yesterday. I think yesterday. Let's pull up the SPY chart. So I bought mid-January puts on the SPY. This is a bit of a contrarian play. And I bought them with a 440 strike. So right about here. Why did I do that? Let me... Oh, indicators. All right. I want to bring up the MACD. Do not fucking copy this trade. As I said in the Discord when I posted this, this is a coin toss. I'm a little bit early on this trade. MACD, here we go. All right, here's what I'm looking at. The MACD is about maybe to cross, indicating that we could be entering a bearish cycle. Now, I could be wrong. Look at this. Back in June, it traded flat, up, down, up, down, up, down. Look, if I'm wrong, I'm going to lose my money. If it trades flat for 3 months and just bounces around like this, which it could, I will lose my trade. But I feel like the SPY is topping out and that we're ripe for a little pullback. And I posted the profit potential table in the Discord of why I made that trade in the VIP Discord. And we'll find out. We'll find out between now and mid-January if I was right or not. I do occasionally, yes, play index options, but I like it. I like them to be really at an inflection point, if you will. I'm not trying to play them day to day. I want to buy at a low. I want to buy it or sell at what I think is a high. I don't know, Zach. Does anybody know if Pal's speaking tomorrow? Oh, Tim H. Okay, you're the Tim the Tool Man. Welcome, Tim. Tim says, I know, Tim, you're very bullish on Mullen, and God bless you. We've all been there on various different stocks, and I'm certainly never one to try and talk anybody out of any play. A lot of people get mad because I speak very plainly, and it's not always what you want to hear. But I just tell you what I think, whether it's good or bad otherwise, and I hope you listen either way. I think you guys all need someone on your team that just tells you straight up how it is. And I'm not always right, but I'm mostly always right. Tim says, I think if you have been in Mullen for a while and need a dollar cost average in order to get your cost average down and trim the position on a pop. It's all going to depend on that vote, right, Tim? It's going to depend on the vote, and it's going to depend on production numbers for all of the EV companies. Want to see rising production numbers, all of them. I have no favorites. The only thing I can say is right now Tesla is profitable. And I don't even own Tesla right now. I as I mentioned on last night's call, I had puts on Tesla yesterday, which I sold for 18% profit. So I just play them all for whatever I think is going on. And I want to be as expert as I can on all of them to figure out how to take advantage of the chart. And then if I find one that I think for a long-term hold is a good buy, I will tell you at that time. There's none of them right now. Not one that is at a long-term hold good buy price for me. Douglas says, do I know the proposed RS ratio for Mullen? It's up to the board, Douglas. It's up to 1 for 100. Between whatever, 1 for 2 and 1 for 100. I don't know what they'll end up doing. I guessed on the last one that they would do much higher, and they did 1 for 9, so I was not correct on that. I thought they'd go for the full gusto on the last one, and they did not. So sometimes I get shit wrong. Thank you. PV Quickshot says, Pal speaks at 12 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Guys, where is he speaking? Can somebody let me know? Douglas says, do you really think the market will go down into a strong chance of decreasing Fed rates? That is the million-dollar question, right, Douglas? I think that anybody that tells you they know for sure what is going to happen is smoking crack. I tend to be more cautious than some. And by that, to back that up, I'll tell you, I talked about it 2 nights ago. I don't know how much I am right now, but somewhere around 47, 48% in cash in my biggest account, 100% in cash in another account. Because I feel like there's going to be another pullback sometime between now and end of January. Looking at housing, looking at cars. The Fed is the big unknown, right? Like, I don't know, but if the market starts taking off, I've got cash ready to plow in, so I'm okay either way. What I really want to do is be in cash to the greatest extent possible in case there's a major market correction, that all the stocks that I'm watching, that I'm anxious to buy, that I can buy them cheaper. And if that doesn't happen, that's fine. If they start running, if the Fed does something that makes the market run, then I'll just jump in and ride the wave. I'm okay either way. What I don't want to be is fully invested right now, and then the market take a 20, 30% dump. Because then I have no cash and I'm down 20, 30%. So for the money I have invested, my hedging is the SPY puts. I have SPY puts at 440 mid-January. Not a ton. If I really thought it was going to tank, I'd go all in on index puts, but just have a little bit. The other thing that I've been looking at that I know many of you are interested in is this $1 trillion in equity swaps. You know, that whole thing that everybody's talking about, that screenshot, that article. I am trying to dig into that and see if it's legit. I just say I'm not going to comment on it till I fully understand it. There are people that are saying all the banks are going to crash. The world's going to end on December 13th, 14th, 15th. You guys know I don't get into that whole conspiracy stuff. And I think that maybe some people are possibly misinterpreting the impact of that equity swap. But as soon as I have some concrete thoughts on it, I will let you know. I saw that Biggums was doing a live talking about it today. I was chatting back and forth briefly with him and Randall and May about those, trying to figure out what the heck is going on. But I'm not ready to comment on it yet. I will just say I have a healthy suspicion that people might be misinterpreting that equity swap. But at the point where I think that I can say something with conviction, I will let you know. I don't want to get people all riled up over something if it's going to end up being another nothing. All right. I said we were going to do a live for 1 hour. We've now done 2 hours. I'll take a couple more questions and then we're going to wrap it up. Shoot whatever you got. Anya says, I know some of you are carnivores. I think she's looking at me. But do you think some people are trying to eat more veggies and go plant-based, which may hurt Hormel? I think the carnivore movement, Anya, is very small. I think that in general, Americans are addicted to carbs, sugar, fat, and salt. I think that the amount of people trying to go veggie and plant-based is very tiny also. So I'm not worried about Hormel in that regard. Let's look at Beyond Meat, for example. How's their stock doing? BYND. $239 on you, down to $7. That kind of tells a story for me about what people think about going to plant-based. Beyond can only go up, Anya says, unless they go broke, Anya. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, Anya, that's not looking good. Look at that. Net income for the last 3 years. Womp, womp, womp. Not looking good, Anya. Earnings per share. All right. Can they make it? Can they make it, Anya? You want to know, is it going to go up? Cash on the balance sheet, not looking good, Anya. $1 billion dropped down to $220 million. Working capital, they're okay. $471 million versus $78 million current liabilities. Does not look like they've been diluting. Is that correct? Yeah, they've not been diluting. But, I mean, the story's not great here, Anya. Top line revenue falling. Not a great story. They're not done yet, Anya. Their book is not cooked. Their goose is not cooked. Wait, no. Their soy is not cooked. But I don't see a great story here. Anya says, I excel at catching falling knives. Anya, I appreciate you being a member. I appreciate you actively participating. And I know from talking to you that you are learning and you're getting better at not catching falling knives and getting smarter at your trading. So just pay attention, hang out, keep asking questions, and always read them fucking financial statements. For those that are not CPAs, for those that are not didn't take finance or economics in school, I know that's a lot of you. That's fine. I have 3 videos I made a year ago. How to read an income statement in 5 minutes. How to read a balance sheet. How to read a cash flow. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to be an accountant. You just need to look at the basics. And go check out those videos. Leave me a comment. Leave me your thoughts. How do I look at these things and tell you what I think in just a couple seconds? It's not hard. How can I predict what's going to happen to a company like BBIG or Bed Bath & Beyond a year in advance? It's not hard. It's all right here. The extra bit of DD is going in and looking at their, do they have convertibles? Do they have warrants? Are they going to dilute? But you can figure out in 5 minutes just by going to a site like this, looking at the income statement, the balance sheet, a couple things on here. I know it's a lot of numbers. You don't need to worry about most of them. Go check out those videos and let me know what you think. And if you find them helpful, I can do more on that. Mike says, win OTC. For which ticker, Mike? Which ticker are we talking about? Douglas says, my thought is we go up short term until we cycle out on rates or the rate cuts causes a bigger problem. The news from the next 2 weeks should tell the tale for the short term. You know, my college training, Mike, was in economics. So I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to watching the Fed and watching how interest rates and the money supply affect the overall market. The problem is, you know, when we make decisions, when the Fed makes decisions sometimes it takes things a while to turn around. So in the long term, Mike, I think everything's going to be fine. The question is how long do we got to wait? I want to be here. I want to be here when things turn around. I want to be ready to go. Oh, Mike says win OTC for Mullen. I don't know, Mike. It is interesting to me that the Mullen community, many of them say, let it go to OTC. Vote down that reverse split, let it go to OTC. I understand the sentiment, like they don't want to be reverse split. That I get. You don't want to lose 100x of your shares and then get shorted down. I get it. But from the company perspective, same thing that I talked about for the last year for AMC. For the health of the company, is going to OTC the best thing? Because that's going to severely hamper their fundraising ability and the ability of institutions to invest in the company. Is that the best thing? I don't know. I mean, it'd be fascinating for me to have a fresh example of a company that decided, investors decided, fuck it, let's go to OTC and see what happens. I don't have a dog in that hunt. But I'm very interested to see what happens either way. Zelly Zen, how you doing, Zelly? Zelly Zen, what time zone are you in? Are you a Californian? Canadian? West Coaster? Now that I've, Anya, now that I've finished my first glass of this Tenjaki Japanese whiskey, I wish I had, maybe tomorrow, Anya, I'll go buy the coffee, the Nika coffee whiskey and try them side by side. That'd be a more fair test, but I'm still not loving this one. Okay, Zelly's in Philippines. Okay. I've been there one time, Zelly. Subic Bay. Originally from Seattle. What took you to the Philippines? Michael says jets being the ETF for airlines should make a new high with people traveling to family homes and more people returning to business now. Let's check it out, Michael. Where are you at in the Philippines? Zelly Zen? Michael, $34 down to 16. It looks pretty interesting, right, Michael? Just a quick glance at the chart. I guess my question, Michael, is are they going to throw out a COVID 2024 on us? Change of scenery. I like it. I wish I would have had more time there, Zelly. I can't remember how long I was there. It feels like I was there for a weekend or maybe a week. All kind of a blur, if you know what I mean. It was a work trip with a little bit of fun packed in. Thank you to my hosts in Subic Bay. Host being, that was in my corporate life. Host being our customers. They always want to show you a good time. Thoughts on MINM? Not familiar with that one. MINM. It hurts my heart when you guys ask me about charts like this. 142 down to 448. Something bad going on here. Top line revenue decreasing. Net income negative. All right, let's look at the let's look at stock analysis stuff. It's much easier graphically to just use a tool like this. All right, you see that chart, right? No, you don't see it. Top line revenue down 50% since 2020. I'm just going to tell you what I see here. Like, you ask my thoughts. Net income, look at that chart. It's negative and getting worse every quarter. I don't like what I see. I don't know anything about this company, but that is not what you want to see. Balance sheet. They had 20 million in cash. Now they have 781,000. Not great. Current assets is 21 million. Current liabilities 15 million. Working capital is okay. Current assets is higher than current liabilities, but most of those current assets are tied up in inventory. So inventory, obviously you need to sell that. I don't even know what this company does, but when all of your assets are tied up in inventory, that could indicate a problem. I don't know, because I don't know what this company does, but you need to turn that inventory to get it into cash. So that's something I would need to look into. Are they diluting? They're not diluting, so that's good. And they have a positive operating cash flow. So a lot of mixed signals here. The biggest thing that I would be worried about is why is the top line revenue falling? That's my thoughts on that. You got to do a lot of digging on this company. There's probably a good reason why the price is falling. Now, I see that they did have a big jump, 392%. Was that due to a reverse split? What happened here? Somebody help me out. MINIM, not aware of any information that would explain this. So they jumped for no good reason. 392%. I don't know. Mhm. Hell of a trade, man. If you were in it at 86 cents and it ran up to $10, God bless, man. I hope you took advantage of that and sold. But typically, when I see these press releases, if the company doesn't know what happened, you're going to see this price go all the way back down to where it was or lower. Just saying, based on experience, if they don't know why it ran up, it's probably going to just come right back down. Those are great stories, though, huh? The fuck, man. On no volume, it just runs up 1,000%. Unfucking believable. Steve says, have I been able to do a deep dive on ALGN? I have not. I'm guessing they had a bad Q3 earnings with that big gap down. Is this a Invisalign? $737 down to $213. I remember like briefly checking into them. Not super familiar with the company. Let's see what we got. That chart looks okay on the top line revenue. It's flattened out for the last 3 years, but a healthy increase. I would want to understand what are they going to do to make that top line revenue keep growing. They've just been flat for 3 years. Net income wise, net income is not horrible, but it's also mostly flat. They're not diluting, so that's good. Balance sheet, we got total current assets at $2.7 billion, of which $1.2 billion is cash. $900,000 in receivables, that's fine. Total current liabilities is $2.1 billion. So they're okay on working capital. That's a decent story. And operating cash flow is positive. So not a horrible story here. The only thing you need to understand is what is management telling you they're going to do to fix this problem being flat on revenue for the last 3 years. Obviously, a lot of people got excited about it. It's come back down to reality. Might be a decent time to buy. But you gotta, the PE ratio is 25. That's a little bit high. What are they going to do to grow the business? That's all you got to ask yourself. Anya says MINM soared 800% after receiving a NASDAQ deficiency notice. Sounds weird, right, Anya? All right, 3 minutes and we're going to call it a night. HTLD, Michael says, has insider buying. All right, let's see. So many tickers, Michael, that I've never heard of before. $26 back in 2014. Been trading in a range, and then it's had a dip over the last 2 years. Currently at $14, $13.42. A trucking company, okay. Top line revenue looks okay, Michael. Net income, not so good. You got to be worried when your top line revenue is increasing, but your net income is falling. You need to investigate that. I mean, that's like 5 quarters of falling negative net income. They're not diluting. Cash balance is getting really low. Working capital is still okay, but this is concerning to me. Cash balance. I would think that maybe they're probably considering a dilution. And they have positive operating cash flow. So, I mean, you need to figure out what's going on here. Net income. I would need more than 5 minutes to figure that out, Michael. You would think a trucking company would be doing great right now. Let's see what we can find out about insider trading. Not STLD, HTLD. Yeah, I see a lot of buys. That would be a green on my dashboard. Buy, 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 baby. Nothing but buys. But remember, we got like 8 boxes on the dashboard. We can't just go by one. So insider buying is a good signal. Then you need to spend some more time figuring out what are they going to do to fix the problems that they do have. All right, ladies and gents, I want to get at least a few hours sleep so I can be up before 9:30 a.m. like what happened this morning. Thank you for hanging out. Godzilla Minus One, go see it if you're a true film buff. It's not going to be for everybody. I get it. It's not going to be a major blockbuster. I get that too. But if you like good movies, good production, good direction, classic Godzilla, you're going to like this one. And if you don't like the fact that I review movies, well, you can kick rocks. I've always liked movies, even when I was broke and went to the dollar theater in college. Always will. I'll always share my thoughts on movies, whether I own a movie theater stock or not. Everybody's got to have a couple hobbies, right? I've got a couple. Movies, I like. Gardening, I like. Raising chickens for, just in case shit happens. I like that too. Owning guns and ammo. I like that. In Austin, Texas, if you call 911, they might not even answer the fucking phone. Anyways. For those of you that like movies as much as I do, go see Godzilla 1. It's not full of CGI and fucking nonsense. It's a real film. Anya says, don't they need a replacement for Siskel and Ebert? I have a couple of people, Anya, they tell me, Tony, you just need to make your channel about movie reviews. You do so good. I'm not eloquent enough to do movie reviews. I just like movies. And I'll tell you if I like them or not. But maybe I like movies different than the typical millennial. Like you guys know I've taken a couple of acting classes because I like movies. And I watch YouTube channels that are about filmmaking. And so I think about things like lighting and how the director frames the shot. And the place, just the whole setting of the movie. I think about really nerdy things. So maybe my movie reviews are not for everybody. Like if you're an Adderall addict and you need a bunch of CGI Marvel type films to be happy, don't watch my channel. But whether, like I said earlier, whether I own a movie cinema stock or not, I'm always going to go to movies. Just one thing that I like to do with my entertainment budget, my free time. Always have, always will. And I will continue to share my thoughts despite all the haters. So, with that being said, go watch Godzilla Minus One. Support an underdog. It cost them $15 million to make it. They're probably, they'll be lucky to make $100 million on that movie. But I hope you go see it, and I hope you share your thoughts with me. I will post my review on it tomorrow in the community tab and on Twitter. Feel free to share your thoughts, whether you liked it, whether you hated it. It's okay. We always like good old-fashioned debate. But if you dare trying to insinuate that I'm equating a movie review, my thoughts on a film, with pumping a stock, you can fuck right off to the top of fuck mountain. Because I like movies, damn it. Have a good night, guys. I will see you mañana in the Discord, in Twitter, and hopefully some evening, weekend live streams. Love ya. Don't risk all your money on one money-losing stock. Remember to invest the bulk of your portfolio in companies which have a long history of increasing earnings, increasing top line revenue and profits. And then let's have fun and be able to sleep at night on our gambling plays. Peace out, guys. As always, I'll be as transparent as possible, answer your questions. Just be nice, treat me like a human, treat me like an adult, and I will do the same to you. We'll see you on the next one.
So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it in my bones.